Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Joel, with whose movie Ripper was here. Let's take a look at the clip.
Are you sure about this guy?
Meets the criteria, sir.
Well, he's got one hell of a reputation. As an aviator, at least. But you'd better make sure you keep this shit kicker quiet and in line, or it's your ass.
You were informed this mission is classified top secret.
I know.
Under no circumstances are you to speak to anyone outside of the program at any time about anything pertaining to this mission.
I'm still gonna be famous though, ain't I?
When the mission is successful, you'll be on the front page of every paper in the world. You'll have more attention than you can handle.
Joel, thank you so much. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you. Thanks for
having
having
me.
me.
Have you here. And your film took us, literally took us to another universe, let's say that. Brilliant idea.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was so nice. Even at the film festival last night, everybody was talking about it. But for our audience, those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Well, a little backstory is we started this in 2011, and it was right after we did a short film called Varmint. It was about disposable child, and so just the idea of people within certain parts of society just being expendable, and so we translated that into this film as well. It used to be called Hero One, which is based after the capsule. But we just love this idea of government cover-ups and an egotistical space or test pilot who will do whatever he wants or what within the constraints of obviously becoming famous. And when he finds out he's not famous, he goes on this tailspin and sort of how that spins out of control. But I feel like it's sort of like a double, it's about Ripper, but it's also about Milbury as well. So they both equally carry very similar amounts of weight within the film.
I mean, it's amazing how obviously when you're watching a film and you're sort of trying to work everything out and you're going this on Discovery, and then when you sort of find out what's going on, I felt this intense claustrophobia just arise through my soul, and I was like, I could not. I mean, again, it's a brilliant idea. And I'm so glad that in the development of this idea you've got to make it, because this is a really special one. You say it's about these two characters and they equally carry this insane weight, and you can feel this weight. And then you're also obviously the world we live in today, you're like, oh my goodness, is this actually happening? Is this happened? Is it already happened? Is it going on? Where did this sort of again, I wasn't done with the film, I want more, but where did the inspiration come for you in just sort of clicking into this idea and then obviously articulating it into a film? I know you've been on a long journey, but how was that process where you're like, I've got it, we need to make this a film?
Well, I mean, this is probably our 20th iteration of this movie, and originally when we tried to get it off the ground, we built the capsule, we built all these things, and then in 2015 we had to throw it away because we couldn't raise enough financing for that for it to be done right. And again, like I said yesterday at the festival, we looked around for all these different capsules that would work out, but all the ones you've seen before, and the right stuff that they use that one, and it's just, and they're not very well done. But to get back to your point, I feel like it's just again the idea of people who are just can be taken away at an instant and and covered up and never spoken about and not getting the credit that they deserve. And I feel like that happens every day, especially within the global climate that we're dealing with now, especially with kind of strong men and things like that. And so what that entails in terms of taking somebody at the height of their career and sort of squashing that, and what that feels like. So we also thought it was a funny idea as well, and it's interesting being able to watch it with an audience that the joke which I'm so glad it lands, where not to give away too much spoilers, but where you find out the monkey's going to get the credit, and everyone just starts laughing, and you're like, okay, this is working, thank God. But originally,
Yeah, I felt bad for that laugh actually. I was like, oh no, this is like, why am
I know, but we want that, you know.
no,
it is
it's
a
great.
dark comedy at the end of the
is.
day, and
Yeah.
so writing that line of like drama, thriller, dark comedy,
Yeah.
and originally the script was I think 25 or 28 pages, and I was just like, I don't care. Like if it's good at that length, then great. I'm just tired of like scaling back and making it like fit within festival length, and I was just like, forget it. Let's just make it whatever it is, and then eventually we cut it down to 18, 30 or 50, but like
Yeah.
it just cut all the fat out of it and tried to make it as condensed as possible.
Well, Joe, I'm super impressed with the production. Like, I mean, listen, it's never easy to make anything in this particular genre, let alone what you were creating. I mean, how was that process? We obviously clearly had a vision, but what you gave us on screen, especially on a big screen, it looked fantastic. How was that process for you? And obviously finding that right place where you could find the capsule, and just even the elements that you incorporate into the film, because it looked powerful on screen.
Well, we're all just total film nerds, like we've worked together since literally 2005 or 6.
Yeah, trust that.
Tons of commercials, tons of music videos, lots of different things. So I feel like us just being able to communicate what we were wanting, over the course of 14 years to get to where we were when we started principal photography 2 years ago, really got us in place of like being able to source everything. We always knew we wanted to shoot at the Hall of Records in downtown LA. Getting that was like, difficult pre-COVID, but during COVID it was relatively easy. And so I think it was just the right place at the right time to find everything. But we had pages and pages of reference photos, and the capsule, was built in my friend's, in the production designer's house in the living room. And a lot of the panels were all the diagrams and things that we pulled for it to build it were actually the real deal. And we had it sent out to this place in Utah to laser cut the pieces, and then it came back. It was pieces of wood, it wasn't metal, but we obviously painted it and things, but we really tried to make sure that the attention to detail was there, because we wanted that,
No, you really did. And
Yeah.
honestly, I paused in a few moments because I was actually so impressed from a producer standpoint of the detail. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Even the color palettes and how you made it feel. I was there. Unfortunately, I was there in the capture in my emotions. But one of the things I really impressed with as well is that we have these ideas, right? And this is obviously, in this case, it's 13 years in the making. You finally make it. It's out there. What's that experience and feeling like?
I mean, yesterday was the first time we'd watched it with an audience that we didn't know. So
nice.
Before, we'd done a little small cast and crew screening just because they deserved it. It had been so long. And so being able to see it with other people was it was incredible just to see that, some of the jokes that we thought were going to land did, and how many people came up to us after with this response that anytime you make something creative, if somebody feels something, I feel hopefully it's positive, that you've accomplished your job, and you're what you've tried to get across, and it seems like that happened yesterday, and so
it really
felt
did.
Great. But I think it's just a matter of me being able to pull really talented people over the course of my career, being able to be oh, this sound person from Shogun I worked with, bring him in to do the sound design here, and this person from the other Ryan Murphy, and my colorist, and all these people that I'm able to pay doing all these other jobs, and then these ones I'm hey, help me out, we still have these other ones going, and they're yeah, great, awesome.
I love, and also as well, obviously your two main actors as well, they work brilliantly together, considering they never had a scene literally together. They work brilliantly together, which was really fascinating to see the energy, and also how do you, as a director, you had to create that intensity. Did you kind of work, how did you work with the actors in that sense? Did you kind of let them play? How was that process for you?
Well, I mean, LA has such incredible actors. I wasn't worried about trying to find the people that were right for it. I mean, we cast it on breakdown services we have in the past. Sometimes we work with people we already know, but at this, within this film, I just knew that we were going to find the right people. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
there's so many good people that just are waiting to be discovered. And with Travis, who played Ripper, and Billy, who played Milbury, it just became this like really great synergy between them. And after they watched the screen, they were like, "How did you know that I was like going to be the right person?" I was like, "Just knew. I mean, your energy, and like I knew that you were going to be able to do this." And also, like the 20 pages that you had to memorize and huge monologues and stuff, you had like 3 or 4 months to memorize that. So I knew that was going to be no problem as well. But
it was nice to have them in the audience as well. Obviously, to experience that with their audience as well. They did really, 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 really good. Well, I love the story you created. I kind of wasn't done. It could have been a feature. Like I wanted more. Because I just love these. I love Mr. Frank. Obviously, I thought he had great sense of humor in this whole experience at NASA. But what is next for you? What is next for you, Joel?
I mean, we wrote the feature because we have the feature. It's been done.
Features coming, people. Yeah. I love it.
Well, great. The feature script has been done for a long time. I think it needs a lot of kind of tweaks, but it's there. I mean. Again, this has been such a long process where we wrote the short, and then we're like, oh, we'll write the feature, and then like maybe we'll try and get the feature made, and then we're like, we'll do the short again. So, so all these sort of short projects that we develop all have like, feature aspects of scripts that have already been done.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then also, a lot of like half Japanese stories that I developed with my sister. We write together because I'm half Japanese, and I work a lot in Japan, so being able to sort of tell those types of stories as well about identity stories, or just like things that like a adolescent male protagonist and a teenager female protagonist in Japan, and then there's sort of like the third version of that with like this half Japanese baseball agent who found Hideo Nomo in the 90s, who brought him to the States and then brought him to the Dodgers. But so we have the life rights of him. His name's Don Nomura. He's incredible. And so like there's a lot of different things, and then some other stuff I can't really talk about yet, but
you got enough on your plate right now.
That's
amazing.
There's a lot going on. There's Shogun season 2 ramping up for next year. There's wrapping up a Ryan Murphy grotesquerie.
Amazing.
So there's a lot of kind of things, but again, those sort of like always being on set, I think, is one of those experiences where like, especially trying to get into more of like episodic directing is like, just get on set as much as you can. I mean, also I do a lot of behind the scenes for those types of projects as well. So
you're
like,
normally in my chair. Right?
Yeah, I'm usually in your chair.
I might never I'm like, it's the pro right here.
No. But like those experiences allow you. I've shadow directed a lot, but like I feel like also behind the scenes, like you can pretty much get in and go anywhere you want on set and ask any question you want, work with any actor, and like that really kind of allows you to just get a well-rounded idea of like the way film sets work and interacting with heads of departments, and and they get to know you and blah blah blah. So
well, thank you for also sharing that really important advice, because it really is important just to get on as many sets as possible, get stuck in, don't be afraid, because, believe it or not, you're probably not the only one that's nervous in the room, going through something, and just try. And so thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's like you don't know how your career is going to go at the early stages, but like I think the most important thing is just working as hard as you can and being smart about like each little detail that you're doing. I mean, when I was doing a lot of behind the scenes for like Warner Brothers Records in like 2015, and then I got asked to do American Crime Story, O.J. Simpson, and then that got me to the Emmys with Ryan, and then we won an Emmy on that project, and that kind of like translated everything else after. But it was just like this random, it was just this kind of funny, like I didn't know what I was doing back then, but at the same time, it's just like
here you are, though, and here you are. So, well, Joel, listen, whatever world you take us into next, we're ready for it. So
Thank you.
Really appreciate you bringing your film. I love that you create these characters that they're so good we're not finished with, and you're making the feature. That's always very exciting. So we just thank you, and welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it. And let's raise some money for Hero One.
Let's raise some money, lots of money. Thank you, Joel, everybody.